Hello, my name is Jacob Gibbs, and today I'm going to show you how to use the Mortgage Coach ROI Calculator. Let's first take a look at the assumptions area at the top left. Now these fields can all be adjusted by you, and really rather than being assumptions, this is where you enter in your actual values for your real life situation. You can click on Originator if you are an originator, or if you're a branch manager, you can select on Branch Manager. If you would like to see your return on investment as the entire enterprise, you can do that too by clicking on Enterprise. Because they all work roughly the same with a few adjustments based on what you want to understand about your own return on investment using Mortgage Coach, today I'm going to focus on this as if you're an originator. So go ahead and select Originator if you're following along. Now let's collect some information to start building out this model. A number needed for this ROI model that most originators know right off the top of their heads is how many loans they close per year. And I'm just going to come up with a number here for a typical core performer. You, of course, would look up your own number, but let's just say that you close 60 loans in a year. For this example, I set 60 in the closed loan assumptions area like this. Now notice that the graphs are changing on the fly as I'm making changes to the assumptions. Now you're going to see that happen all the way through here. Now from here, it's next helpful to know specifically how many credit reports you pulled in during that same time period. You can look up your own number of credit reports pulled, and I certainly recommend that you do, but as an average it takes about 3.2 times as many credit reports to close loans as the typical conversation we see in the industry, about 30%. You should know your number of closed loans, and the number of credit reports you pulled last year also exists in your records somewhere as the credit reporting company sends you a bill. Just ask your manager or whoever has access to your credit report bill, and you can enter your specific number here. Now since we know it takes about 3.2 times as many credit report pulls to get a closed loan, I'm going to go ahead and say 200 credit reports. So I'll go ahead and enter that in. Notice that the graphs continue to change as I modify data. Now next you can see we need to know your average loan size, as that varies per loan officer in different regions of the country. So we'll come over here and we'll just use the national average of 267,000. Again, get your actual average loan size to make sure this is as accurate as possible for you. But next, we'll come down here and we'll put in your specific basis points compensation. I'll just put in 100 basis points as my compensation. And now you can see we actually have enough data to proceed through here. Now you can click Enter to adjust, you can click Tab to tab between the different areas, and that will automatically cause an adjustment in these graphs. For example, you can see now once I hit Enter that if you had pulled 200 credit reports and you close 60 of those loans, there's actually 140 loans right here that are lost, meaning you didn't fund them. That's okay in some ways, as not every loan is fundable. Some loans don't have the credit quality needed to close, while others are stopped in underwriting for a wide variety of reasons. In other words, no one can close every loan on every pre-qualification that they start working on. So we put into our calculation here, we assume that 75% of the people you pull credit on are not fundable in any case, which is quite typical. You could move it up or down right here by changing this little operator. So if you wanted to go up to say 80%, you could certainly do that and it would adjust. I'm going to keep it at 75 for our example today. Now you can see that that actually produces unfundable loans of 105 out of 140 lost loans. Now what that means is there's actually 35 of those loans that were funded by your competition. So let's take a close look at this number. Essentially this means if you funded 60 loans out of 200 credit reports, 105 were lost as unfundable. But the big news here is that 35 did get funded, not by you, but instead by a competitor. I'll pause here while that sinks in for a moment. You pulled a credit report, you worked on the loan, but instead they got their loan from another lender. Worse, that happened 35 times. Now we call this number LFC, which stands for Loans Funded by Competitors. Your focus now that we know how many loans your competitors took right off your plate is, how do we stop these rate shoppers from shopping us? For those who do not believe that many loans are being funded by your competitors, we can go into public records and find the names of the actual people where you pulled the credit report, but the loan got funded, not by you, very easily. Most loan officers know that they do lose loans to other lenders, and they really hate that fact is true. Imagine how much better you would do if you did not lose those loans to other lenders. Moving on, your actual numbers will be different, of course, but it's important to understand that in this example, here in red letters, there were 35 loans, or $9 million in missed loan volume, where you indeed thought enough of the borrower to pull a credit report and started to work the said loan. Now, Mortgage Coach can help you capture this opportunity and win these deals that are otherwise lost. This is the big aha moment when most people use this ROI calculator. When we ask the question, why is it that your borrowers are funding with somebody else? Usually originators say that the borrower went with another person who they perceive to be offering a better deal or a lower rate. Now, what's interesting is that rarely does the originator take ownership of these lost loans and instead blames the borrower or their competitors' low rates. If you think honestly about what is really happening when a loan is lost, it's a fact that while the rate matters, what matters more is the borrower's emotional connection to their chosen loan officer. If they funded with somebody else, you were unsuccessful in making that proper connection and winning the deal. Now, Mortgage Coach has a way of helping originators to emotionally connect by using a borrower presentation platform that gives visual tools and visual loan options and scenarios that causes this needed emotional connection, allowing you to capture more of those loans that you started working on in the first place. If you've not looked at the feature functionality yet, please take a few minutes to contact Mortgage Coach and truly learn why our total cost analysis stops rate shoppers from shopping you out. Now let's think about this. If we could recapture even 25% of those loans your competition is winning from you, or just 8 more loans, that's your opportunity there, of the 35 that are being funded by the competitors, you can see that you would add an additional volume of over $2 million to your sales totals. If, as we have in this example, you have 100 basis points of compensation, that's another $21,000 in compensation to you, just because you use Mortgage Coach early and often, as close to the time you pull credit report as possible. This is why we call this tool our Mortgage Coach ROI Calculator. There's a tremendous return on your invested dollar when you purchase Mortgage Coach for $900 a year or $90 a month. Usually, it only takes the compensation from less than one loan that you otherwise would have lost to rate shopping to pay for your entire year of Mortgage Coach service. By implementing regular use of Mortgage Coach, you can see your first year income is going to increase by 13.33% using the math that we plugged into this model. And that's after the cost of buying the Mortgage Coach service. Of course, the most important numbers are your actual numbers. Now that you can see the nice increase in pay that Mortgage Coach can help you achieve, let's go forward and use the tools with your own numbers, your own assumptions, and see for yourself what the return on investment Mortgage Coach can create for you. Thanks for listening, and please call us with any questions. Take care.